Morning, everybody. We should be up and running. Let me make sure my mic is working. Maybe pull it in a little bit closer. Hopefully, everybody's having a good morning today. We're going to get right into it. No delays. So, as you can see, we had a little baby drop. We had a drop for ants and Bitcoin. We had the stock market drop. It's already recovering. I did some trades with SBET last night. Dumped in about 60K, up about 20 or something. I don't know. There's a lot going on today. We've got Israel destroying the IRGC, the Iranian government, the Iranians' military, their nuclear program. That's the stuff that's going to take center stage. I'll get you caught up in that really, really quick. And then also on top of that, there's other stuff going on that we haven't really talked about since it's been a couple of days. We've got the Treasury buying back basically all the bonds. That's a beautiful thing for liquidity. We've got for Bitcoin perspective, we've got the Genius Act that passed, and that's basically the stablecoin bill passed the Senate. We got Bitcoin treasuries that are just absolutely on fire. We've got Trump's popularity that's never been higher. We've got immigration protests that are probably making a lot of people sad yesterday because this war between Israel and Iran picked up and it took away all their mojo. They didn't get any press. Very sad, I'm sure of that. But let's jump into it. So yesterday afternoon, late in the day, first off, there were signals all of yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. Trump kept saying, hey, Iran, you better work with us. If you don't work with us, there's this threat of war. You should watch out. We want to work with you. We want peace. But if you don't work with us, then Israel's probably going to attack you. Then they said that they were having people vacate the embassies and basically hunker down if they were in Iraq or any other areas around Iran. So they made very clear signals that this stuff was coming. And then yesterday, Israel started to attack Iran, and they wiped them the fuck out. At the same time, though, I like what we're doing from an American standpoint. We're signaling. Marco Rubio said U.S. is not involved in the Israeli strike in Iran. Israel is saying that we were. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that we're denying it. That's the important part. Tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. This is Marco Rubio. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interest or personnel. Trump responded later on and said, hey, this isn't us. But if you guys fuck with us, we will fuck with you and bring hell down upon you. What did you say, MB? Jesse, Brent, Call, Hedges jumped 180% overnight, hours before the attack. Perhaps worth coming back to the old routine of checking macro charts 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the show. We can do some of that. I'm not too worried about it, though. Oil's actually getting ready to crash, so that's all good. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I said, what message has been sent to China over the last several years? Because what's happening right now is a FAFO. It's a fuck around and find out moment. So Syria, the leadership, al-Bashar al-Assad, gone. In Russia, in hiding. And then Israel wiped out the rest of their military, or at least the larger parts of it, to be able to protect them once the new regime came into power. Russia can't even take a third of Ukraine. They're clearly not winning. Pakistan, India destroyed their military in less than a week. And I didn't say destroy, but they basically made them back off immediately after talking a very tough game. And Iran right now has lost their nuclear capacity. There's some that are probably sitting in a mountain that aren't completely gone yet, but they're working on it. And then at the same time, they've wiped out almost all their military leaders, their nuclear leader programs, or everybody that headed the program for their nuclear program. They've wiped out hundreds of jets, all of the rocket launchers. Iran didn't get any of their jets off the ground, or if they did get off the ground, they got blown up. Iran sent 100 drones to try and attack Israel. They've all been intercepted. This is literally a one-sided fight. This is a one-sided fight. It's going very quickly. I posted that. Israel has made it clear that this is that a day of liberation from tyranny is closer than ever for the Iranian people. That's very much how Netanyahu presented it. And again, Iranian fighter jets are taking off, yes, but they all blew up. Israel confirms it has struck the nuclear facility. Yep. And again, you can see. And so here's the thing I want to say. I don't want to say this with too much excitement. There are innocent people that died in Iran, and they're probably good people. They're normal people. They're average, everyday people. They are not. They don't like the Iranian government, and they died. How do we know that? Because there's a 15-story building here, and one side of it's laying on the ground. The strikes, though, were very strategic. If you look here, they tried really hard to hit. When they hit this leadership, they hit them. They might have taken out their neighbors. So if you were neighbors with the heads of the Iranian government, you might have gotten hit. But if you weren't, you're okay, most likely. And again, Israel brought up their full missile shield. You could see chaos in the streets in these videos, burning buildings all over the place. Just tons of that. Look at this one here. That one you probably hopefully got out of. Even up here, look at this. This skyscraper they hit, you can see where they blew off part of it. So whoever was sitting in the penthouse, I'm guessing somebody high up in the IRGC just got their shit blown apart. This is the nuclear facility burning. Right there. So that's a nuclear facility burning to the ground. I don't know if there's going to be a nuclear fallout. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. And again, just tons of strategic strikes. We'll skip that Tesla stuff. I did want to say this, though. I said this war will be over very fast, and I think that's going to show to be very true. Again, when they hit this stuff, here's a ballistic missile factory in western Iran that got hit. Listen to that. Listen to the ammo. Just nonstop. Sounds like a Gatling gun. And then shortly after the first wave, a second wave of Israeli missiles started to go out. I want to be clear, though. People don't seem to understand Iran. Iranians hate their government for the most part. The youth, a lot of them are agnostic or atheists. They don't even practice Islam. They're very, very different people. And so if there's ever been a time for them to rise up, it's now. And again, like this woman here, she's like, how many anti-Western demonstrators are you going to see that are Iranian?
Behind my birth country of Iran. And I'm noticing a lot of non-Iranians are speaking out and trying to defend the Islamic Republic. And they're basically whitewashing the crimes of a brutal Islamic dictatorship that has held my country hostage for the last 47 years.
And so here's the thing: most of these people want to be free. This is a very different situation than like trying to liberate Afghanistan or liberate Iraq, where a large majority of the population was Islamic, and they wanted to kill the United States. The Iranian people, the vast majority of them, just want to be free. And the worst part is the United States helped create the Iranian regime by assisting in the overthrowing of previous government that was very Western, and these people lived a very Western life. And so it's good that hopefully this will be restored and they'll be able to be back to the way they were. Also, Fetterman, Democrats talking about how we need to support Israel and taking these guys out. Very fascinating. Again, just more scenes of chaos. These guys are waking up in the morning. The time of the attack was great because they're waking up in the morning and they're seeing a lot of the Iranian leadership wiped out. A lot of them wiped out. Look at all this stuff. Look at all the chaos. So these people are waking up and they're seeing the Iranian leaders dead. I would argue that is very, very good for the people being willing to overthrow their government. Just look at this stuff. But again, innocent people died. That 15-story building, one half of it coming down, there's probably a decent amount of good people that were hurt by that. But this is what the people are waking up to, right? They're looking around and they're seeing that these guys are gone. And we're not done yet. And when I say we, I'm talking about the West. In this specific case, Israel. They're not done yet. They have a lot more to do. Let's look real quickly here. Breaking. Not a single Iran Air Force plane managed to take off. All were destroyed or incapacitated. So again, we heard reports of them taking off, but they're basically gone. Israel Defense Forces says we can now confirm the Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces, Commander of the IRGC, and the Commander of the Iran's Emergency Command were all eliminated in the Israeli strikes across Iran by more than 200 fighter jets. These three are ruthless murderers with intentional blood on their hands. The world is a better place without them. So again, massive, massive wiping out of these guys. Let me zoom back up here. I got thrown around. But essentially, this war is going to come to an end very quickly. And I think the markets are going to recover very quickly. Tesla only down 1.13% right now. Pre-market already recovering. Let me see here real quickly from yesterday. And then we'll get into all the other stuff. There's a lot of good stuff today, guys. So yesterday, this is how we closed. And then this morning, this is how we're looking right now. But this honestly looks a lot better than it did. I wore my red just for the occasion. I hope you guys appreciate that. And I think that's going to get better and better and better. Again, Iranians stand with Israel. There's so many Iranians that don't. You got to realize this. Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis are all direct Iranian proxies. Iran started this war on October 7th through these proxies. Israel is now ending it. This is a parade that took place 2 weeks before October 7th. Again, they were excited about what they had done. But Hezbollah, been wiped out. They got blown up with fucking pagers by the Mossad. Those guys are powerful. Mossad is powerful. So again, you don't have a threat from Lebanon. Hezbollah said they're not getting involved in this right now. You got the Saudi Crown Prince. Listen to this. Saudi Crown Prince, the Ayatollah wants to create a project in the Middle East like Hitler. Many countries didn't realize how dangerous Hitler was until it was too late. Saudi Arabia does not want nuclear bombs, but if Iran developed a nuclear bomb, we would follow suit. Saudi Arabia looks at the Iranian leadership as Hitler. Okay? And look at this. Iranian girls making the symbol for Israel and Jewish people. Isn't that amazing? And again, the second wave today now, we're seeing a second wave hitting Iran. This is in Tabriz. Look at this. They hit something there. I'm guessing it's military facilities. And again, more bombs being dropped in Tehran, Isfahan, and Natanz. There's a lot of stuff still unfolding. There was a drone factory built in Iran to attack Iran. Here's some guys launching drones in Iran, some Mossad agents. Here they are blowing up some of the missile systems. And then Russia condemned this, but Russia's done. Russia's done. They lost Bashar al-Assad. He's living in their fucking country now. They lost Pakistan. They lost Iran. BRICS is no military force at all. And I put the final boss as the CCP in China. And that might end up being the most peaceful decline of them all, since it appears that Xi Jinping is being quietly overthrown. Final conclusion, the stock market will figure out that having the West win these fights is good for our economies and the stock market. Again, Sean McGuire, he says this was a complete decapitation strike. There's still work to be done over the coming days, and Iran will find small ways to retaliate, especially terror attacks. But this will end with the Islamic regime in Iran completely embarrassed and on their way out. I told you yesterday this was going to end very quickly, and it is. Germany said Iran must not get the bomb. Sean put 100 critical targets were hit, everything from Iran's air defenses to long-range missile launchers to missile production facilities to killing their entire command structure to killing their top nuclear scientists to starting to destroy their nuclear facilities themselves. Mind-blowing. Aviva put, the Mossad built a drone base inside Iran. In a stunning revelation, we learned that Mossad had secretly smuggled explosive-laden drones. So I'm sorry, an installation, not a factory, into Iran and established a launch base near Tehran. When last night's operation began, the drones were unleashed on the, I'm not even going to try and say that base, one of Iran's most dangerous missile sites, and obliterated launchers and aimed at Israeli cities. So they were able to take these guys out before they could even launch. Iran calls for a clear stance from UN nuclear watchdog chief. I just laugh at that. Most of Iran's senior nuclear scientists no longer alive. Again, just like and then they're showing all the people that have been taking out. It's over. It's really over. Iran is done. And so I put, this statement will be prophetic and markets are going to love it. Yes, that's Canton Meow. He is that versatile, reading The Art of War. Again, I said this war will be over very fast, and I think it's going to be proven. Amit posted, Trump to Iran, make a deal before there is nothing left so you can save your Iranian empire. So he's telling what's left of the Iranian regime that if they want to exist in the future, they better make a deal with the United States right now. And they probably won't, and that's okay. We're fine with that. Again, just targeting missile systems. targeting missile systems, air bases, missile systems, and setting off drones. So anyway, so oil spiked up really hard, but look at it. It hit a resistance zone that goes back to the beginning of 2022. So we have 3.5 years of resistance that was just hit and has now spiked down. Oil sitting at 72.91, up roughly $4 a barrel in the last 24 hours. My prediction, this is going to come down hard. We'll even be in the 50s because I believe Saudi Arabia is going to assist with oil production because they don't want the Hitler of the Middle East being able to have nuclear power or be powerful. And they like what Israel is doing right now, even though they probably can't say that. Just like Trump can't say that we probably assisted with intel. All right, anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me see if I can find anything else pertaining to this, and then we will move on. All right, let's move on. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. I actually want to talk about this. So, and then I'll get caught up with chat. I'm so sorry, guys. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. What a day. I said, so Lutnick said there's 25,000 signups for the gold card on the website in the first 15 hours because that got published. That is $125 billion in revenue for the U.S. government. So think about this. Think about us saving maybe $50, $100 billion in codified Doge. Because, again, they're codifying the Doge cuts. It looks like that's happening. At least $9 billion was initially codified. There's more. But let's say we codify $100 billion. Let's say we bring in the first year, $250 billion in gold card signups, 50,000 signups, not even that much. If we switch the deficit and bringing in stuff by $350 billion, not to mention that we're seeing record tariff revenues, and it looks like we might have some agreement with us and China in regard to rare earth elements. And their production and being able to get that to our automakers, maybe not our defense sector, but like, again, other parts of our economy couldn't do it for the rest of the world. They'll have to work out their own agreements. But if we're doing that and we still have like 50% tariffs on China and we're letting other nations know, like, guys, you better start dealing. Otherwise we're going to just, here's what it's going to be. And you guys are fucked. And we have all the power now. If you don't realize that, we do. And so you look at increased tariff revenues, you look at deregulation, you look at the gold cards bringing in $125 billion to $250 billion initially. You look at everything that Doge has done and then codifying those. And then you look at programs to lower taxes for Social Security or eliminate taxes for Social Security over time. And then also, again, what was the other thing? God damn it. Tax on tips. My God, I'm tired. I need more coffee. Along with the corporate tax cuts, all the other stuff that's happening. And we are looking at a blow off, guys. We're looking at crazy shit getting ready to happen right now. I hope you guys realize this. I hope you realize just how wild things are getting ready to get. Let's actually look at U.S. economy. Let me see here. So, get caught up with chat. Banshee, good morning from Australia. Psychar Guy, thanks for today's stream. You are welcome, sir. Gemini Knight, Jesse, do you have any info on SBET? Was there some error in the filings? Was there sell-off? I think, from what I gather, and let me real quickly. Oh, no, that's FS Insight. Let me look over here real quick. I'll pull up my Robinhood account. So I did buy, right? I bought some of this last night. And I got it for an average cost of $908. It looks like it's up about a little over $10,000 today, sitting at $1065. So I've made almost 20% off of the move. I do believe a couple of things happened with these guys. And let me just go back. I'll go back here real quick. Before we get into the U.S. economy, we'll just jump into this real quick since this is timely. So I said 14 hours ago, SBET, SharpLink Gaming, has dropped 72% in after hours because of the following. Stock is down sharply because SBET announced a massive $1 billion shelf registration and recently issued 69 million new shares, which can eventually flood the market once they become tradable. This kind of dilution often triggers big sell-offs as investors worry about their stakes being watered down. On top of that, the company's pivot to risky Ethereum treasury strategy. I actually think Ethereum is going to do really well in the next couple of months. yeah, created extreme volatility after a short squeeze, has made a lot of traders nervous to take quick profits. So this thing was up to $125 a share. And then last night it dropped actually, I think, into the sevens momentarily. Sorrel, thank you for becoming a member. You can talk in chat now. So we've closed this massive gap. So I had posted from a chart perspective, if we open where we are tomorrow, we'll have almost completely filled the daily gap. This is funny, actually, because I posted something earlier about the daily gap. So that was what this image came from. And then while that was happening, while I was showing like this gap needing to be filled and I was getting ready to post about that, that's when this happened and it wiped out all of that gap and then some. So it's like a beautiful drop from a technical perspective because the gap has been filled. You went lower. You actually made it down like over here, I think, as far as volume. So right before the breakout even started when people got excited about this stock. And again, this stock went from 230 a share to 125. You can see how some people got scared and wanted to take profits and they locked in a bunch of those overnight. Right? So I took advantage of that. I bought, and I bought some more. There is some stuff I want to talk about with this, though. So this is Ethereum, and it's showing how it actually broke down underneath of this, but I think it's getting back up to this level. I think Income Sharks is right. I think people are shitting on Ethereum too much. I think it's going to go up just because everybody's run away from it. And there's a little bit of a flywheel effect that I find interesting here. Lord Jamie V. Schill, well, at least he's honest, said, waiting on Ethereum's Joseph announcement for Shartlink Gaming, aka SBET. So there was this token of SBET that was created, and they said that it was a scam, and that crushed the token. Again, not affiliated with this company. But they've staked $450 million in ETH. They're issuing convertible notes to acquire additional $1 billion in ETH. That's, again, a part of what that announcement was. They're lending a portion of its staked ETH in DeFi protocols. So they're staking, they're making money, they're lending in DeFi protocols, and then they could revolutionize the industry and showcase the power of smart contract platform. Whatever. I don't know if any of that's going to work. I know it dropped 90% in fucking a very short period of time, and I'm capitalizing off of it. Right? Like that's what I know about this. And I do believe that people were confused about the issuance and they thought there was more than there really was. So again, it's down here. It has been down here. It's been down here. So it basically fell this full length. Let me just show this real quick and then we'll get back to the US economy and other stuff. So it fell all the way to here. So that to me is beautiful. Why? Because this investment on May 30th, roughly 2 weeks ago, was substantially higher and overpriced. And then it dropped 94%. So I feel bad if you bought it up here. Fuck, I'm sorry. Hopefully you didn't buy too much. I actually did buy 20 or something initially in this, 20K. And then I saw kind of the technical patterns and I stayed away from it. And then again, I capitalized on it greatly last night. But let's keep going. We got more to talk about here. Yeah, I should probably follow that guy. I don't know who Shill is, but whatever. I'll follow you. You got a few people. All right. So anyway. And I don't have any more here. So there were other people that have responded to a post. I don't know where it is right now. Maybe you can find it if you look. They essentially said, no, guys, I think this issuance numbers were wrong. It looks like the issuance was actually lower. And therefore, people thought that they had done this massive shelf offering and it just obliterated it and everybody took it out. So I'm really getting this one just on a rebound possibility. I mean, it's dropped 95%. I don't think it's going to zero. I don't think the company is fraud. I think the token was. And so I think there's just a really good opportunity after you've dropped, again, 94% roughly from where you were. I think there's a good opportunity for a rebound. And again, I averaged my cost on the purchases I made about 69,068 or something, or maybe it was in the 60, maybe it was 60. I don't know. But I averaged that cost around the 908 level. So right about here. And I've already made like over 10 grand just for it going here. So you can see how I could do really well if it ended up going back anywhere close to its all-time high in the future. And so we'll have to see what this looks like on the daily. I'm assuming it's going to look something like this. If it's going to look like this, I'm just going to do a trend-based extension because I'm pretty sure we can say that this right over here was the bottom. This was the top. And then again, let's say we open here. Let's just say we open here. The measured, or I should say this, the .618 golden retracement zone that it's likely to be able to get to again, and I don't know that, I'm just assuming this cycle, is back up here at 121. If that were to happen for some reason, and it doesn't have to, nothing ever has to happen. I could be wrong on how I'm interpreting this. There's all kinds of things that can happen, right? But for me, this would be, if it just gets back to that, because again, it was at a $3 billion level. I actually was over that, I think. I was much higher than that probably. But if it gets back to this level, and I don't know if it will, but if it does, I make 10x. And if I make 10x off of what I have, I mean, in this account, I have $73,000. And so that's probably about 80,000 in total, including my other account. So I'll take any day of the week, guys. I will take $900,000 off of an initial investment of like 70. I'll take that any day of the week. So will it happen? I don't know. It's only 1.5%, maybe less of my portfolio. So if it doesn't happen, who gives a shit? You know? But if it does, Nick, congrats, 840. That's nice. Just a little 2% of the portfolio. That sounds reasonable. And again, if you 10x, it might be a decent amount of gains in your portfolio, right? Anyway, so that's my thought. It's going to be volatile this morning. Maybe it goes back down more. Maybe it goes up and then back down. It's going to be volatile. So you could sit back and watch it too. You guys do you. You don't have to buy anything I buy just because I buy it. I'm some dude in his fucking basement. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and being very clear on what I'm doing and transparent so that you guys can hopefully benefit from it. But you don't have to. I mean, sometimes I'm going to be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong this time. I don't know. But so with a down 90%, I feel like I'm pretty safe. Feel pretty safe. All right, let's keep going. Let me see here. Victor, Diamond Hands, says Akash 2000. Akash 2000 also said where SBIT can end up. So I think I showed you. So Alec, what's your plan with SBIT? How do you think about exit plan? Again, I'm not really interested in exiting because I think Ethereum is getting ready to break out. And if I'm right that Ethereum is going to break out and it could double, I'm probably going to be more technically focused on Ethereum for an exit plan than I am this. And again, like anything, if I made 500% in a month or something, I'm probably taking money off the table. But I'll like, if you guys are subbed, you're going to know, right? If you guys are subbed on here, if you're subbed on X, if you're subbed on Discord because you want historical and you want my charts, you're going to know. And you'll be able to look at them yourself too. All right. Anyway, U.S. economy. So again, I just want to reiterate this point with the gold card. Somebody said we could wipe out our entire national debt if we got 7.4 million immigrants to buy these cards. First off, I don't think there's enough multimillionaires to be able to do that. So that doesn't sound very realistic, but I do want to say something else. But here's what is realistic. I said they wouldn't have to because somebody was complaining about this. David, thank you for becoming a member. You can chat now. I said we wouldn't need all that. So we already have 25,000 pre-signed ups, right? And that is 25 billion, whatever the number was. And 125 billion, I think, in additional revenue. If we had 200,000 people sign up, it would be roughly $1 trillion off of our debt. Imagine in 1 year, because again, Scott Besson has told us what we need to do is make it to where our debt's sustainable. If we can bring in revenues and let's say the first year of $1 trillion because 200,000 people sign up for this program and we implement it and they pass the background checks and we're like, hey, you're not a terrorist, you're rich, you bought 5 of these so you could bring your whole family over whenever you want to. You don't have to worry about the tax implications of double taxation because you've got a business in a foreign city and now you're a U.S. citizen. Trump Gold Card prevents that. So you don't have to worry about double taxation. You have a safe haven in the greatest country in the world now. You don't even have to move here. Oh, wow, fireworks. Awesome. You don't even have to move here. And at the same time, we can wipe out $1 trillion in our debt out of 37 trillion with 200,000 of these people coming over. And these people are fucking rich and coming into the United States and might even open up businesses here. I'm so bullish with this, guys. I am so fucking bullish. People do not understand how bullish this is. when we're codifying Doge and doing all these other things, and then we've got programs like this. Akash says, Jesse, all caps. What up, brother? I'll try and get caught up. Let me look at chat a little bit more here. But yeah, so I think that's a big deal. I think CPI coming in really soft was a big deal. I think PPI coming in soft was a really big deal. I think tariff revenue, Bloomberg posting that tariff revenues have hit fresh record highs, helping shrink the May deficit. I think that's a big fucking deal. Seth Golden, based on recent trends, shelter inflation should get back to 2016-19 run rate of 3.3 to 3.6% by the end of 2025. That bodes well for both headline and core inflation. You got to remember, guys, shelter and insurance and all these other things make up they make up like a huge portion of the CPI, and they're all coming down hard. So this is good stuff. Aaron says, what type of stocks do you look at investing in taxable accounts? Do most of my trading in tax advantage accounts, but that won't work for money that's not in it. Tesla? I'm not sure. So yeah, if you're holding something for the long term, it's probably Tesla. And I wouldn't be doing 2X funds. I wouldn't be doing options, at least on a lot of things right now, because I think a lot of them, I think we need to see what happens between now and the end of the year with a lot of stuff, especially Bitcoin stuff. I'm not of the opinion that Bitcoin is just going to go up forever. I think Bitcoin treasuries are going to bleed Bitcoin and just rocket it to the fucking moon. Bleed's probably the wrong word. Rocket it to the moon. And when you do that, when you have explosive tops are formed, whenever you have a bubble that gets created, and there's so many Bitcoin treasuries, and I think they're just so much capital is going to flow into them. And then miners are going to go up as a secondary effect. And then you've got all this gold card stuff. You've got low inflation. You've got the potential for rates coming down. You've got deregulation. You've got pro-tax environment, super growth environment. Bring your companies here, and you don't have to worry about any kind of, you can depreciate the value of the company. You don't have to worry about any of the shit. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. So I don't remember your question. Tom Lee says real rates are too tight right now. I agree. It looks like we're pricing in 2 rate cuts by the end of the year. That looks beautiful. I said people don't seem to understand how tariffs impact the economy. Human beings have the ability to be discretionary, and in the process, they crush the exporters, which causes them to lower prices. I've written about this a few times, but China is feeling pressure not just from the USA, but also from Europe and other parts of the world, because everybody's getting tired of the dumping. And they're eating massive amounts of the tariff increases. If you look at Amazon, I don't remember if it was 70 or 80% of the exporters, and the way that the Amazon marketplace works, they're having to eat the cost just to be competitive on there. And so you have Chinese companies eating a massive amount of the tariffs. You've still got 50% tariffs on them. You've only got 10% tariffs on our companies. And then at the same time, you have rare earth elements that are becoming available to us again, which is helping everybody. And then we have all the power plays on the tariff front. Remember how the tariff front was so like, oh, Trump is fucked, what an idiot. That's turned out pretty good, hasn't it? And so, and I've been saying this the whole time. I've been telling you guys what's coming. Amit said, Trump just now, the fake news says if I fired Powell, it would be so bad. I'm not going to fire him, but it wouldn't be bad at all. Again, it looks like Bessent's probably going to be taking over as the Fed and the Treasury. I don't even know if that's possible. Sounds like it. If we cut rates by 1 point, we save $300 billion. So imagine this. Imagine getting the gold card in. You're cutting interest rates. You're making it to where all the debts are more sustainable for businesses, individuals, and the federal government. All at a time where we're juicing our economy. All at a time where foreign capital is flowing into the United States. Inflation is under control. Powell is costing the country hundreds of billions of dollars in interest. I agree with that. Also, too, let's just listen to this. Scott Bessent in one of his hearings recently. Akash, member for 13 months. Has it really been that long, bro? SBET bought ETH. Oh, is there an announcement today? That's fucking beautiful if it is. Let me get in here. All right. Do you guys have a link to it? Let me see here. Something went wrong? What do you mean something went wrong, bitch? Don't do me like that. All right, I can't find it. Let me see. Let me go to latest. Oh, you're talking about the warrant issuance. Yeah, okay. Oh, SBET at 5 million. Let me see if there's anything new. I don't know if there's anything new here that I haven't already talked about. Yeah, anyway, if there's anything new, let me know. ASST, yeah, what about it? How's it doing today? Let me see here. ASST. Ass. What do we call that? It's down 3.53%. I like that one too. We could talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit. Let's go back here though. You tagged me? Okay. All right. 1 second. Jesse dropping the knowledge bombs. Thank you. Appreciate that. Value Maxi. You're a good friend. What a lovely day. I agree. Here we go. SharpLink acquires. Whoa, beautiful guys. The world doesn't even know this, dudes. SharpLink is sitting at $10.70 still, down 67% in aftermarket from where it was when it closed yesterday. And when it closed yesterday, let's just look here. So let's look at where we are. So this thing it was down 12% in yesterday's trade, and then it dropped another 67%. And I don't think anybody has this news yet. So that's cool. Thank you very much, bro. Thanks, Jesse. See the Jesse sticking together, man. We're doing our shit. Love it. So they just bought another for 463 million. They bought another 176,000 ETH. They bought the dip on ETH. I think that's brilliant as shit. Let me just look through here real quick. It sounds like one of the people that follows us here, and that's a part of this group. Where is he? DJ, where are you at? I thought I saw you in here. Maybe he dropped off. Anyway, it sounds like his family's okay. He's got family in Iran, so I'm very glad to hear that. All right, let's go back. That was cool. Thank you guys for giving me a heads up. Let's listen here to Trump derangement syndrome in regard to tariffs. This is great. Scott Bessent crushing it.
There seems to be a new version of TDS, which I would call tariff derangement syndrome. And many on your side seem disappointed that there is no inflation today. As a matter of fact, we saw the best inflation numbers since 2020. So there has been nothing passed on. There has been no tariff recession. So no inflation, no recession due to tariffs.
I love that. By the way, guys, Bitcoin, if you're looking in the bottom corner, is at 105 now and climbing. And if you look at the volume peak, if you look in the corner over there, guys, where I'm pointed with my arrow, if you look at that volume peak right there and the fact we're above it, it's just a thing of beauty. Hey, guys, hit like and please comment and do all those things. If you find this valuable, if you think what I'm doing on a daily basis and the work I'm putting forth is valuable, I don't always get a lot of sleep. I work really hard for you guys. I've got to balance my health too with all of it. But if you appreciate it, please like and comment and do all the things. And again, the Trump card, so ridiculous. Whatever. And the tax receipts. Just look at this, guys. Look at this. Tax receipts going back to 2015 to now for tariffs. Or not tax receipts, tariff receipts. Look at this. Look at this. What's it going to look like in June? I don't even know. And again, I said this briefly earlier, the United States Treasury, they did it again. The U.S. Treasury just bought back another $10 billion of its own debt, matching the largest Treasury buyback in history from last week. They are buying back their own bonds at record level. We don't even need the fucking Fed to bring rates down. I hope you guys realize that. I've been talking about this a lot. I had a post about it recently too. I think, and I don't know, and maybe it doesn't even go down here right away. Maybe I posted about this more recently. We're nearing that breakdown zone again. Maybe, just maybe, all we do between now and the end of the year is get to the 3.5 range. And then maybe into next year, we start to lower even more. Or maybe we don't have to lower more. I'm not worried about it. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I'm seeing TLT start to recover a little bit. Not that I'm interested in investing that in any way right now. But again, maybe in the future, maybe if I make too much off of Bitcoin and off all these treasuries and off the miners and off all this other stuff, we got to look at miners, guys. You going to buy SBET on open? Dude, I bought almost $70,000 worth yesterday, like 60,000 plus. So I think I'm good. I did that already. Now it's sitting at 1110. I think the ability to buy it in these ranges is going away pretty quick. I think it could find a nice median of 15 to 17 pretty quick. I think. and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then I didn't do enough research, and I apologize. I put the bond yields drop because people trust. So somebody was saying like, oh, bond yields aren't going to go down. I said the bond yields drop because people trust the government as capable of repaying its debt in the future, and or they believe that inflation is coming down and want to lock in higher yields for a longer period of time. I want to add to that if they believe the West is winning wars, they will buy it too. Keep in mind that there's over $7 trillion sitting in money markets that will probably either want to buy stocks or do the above, buy bonds, once they understand that inflation is shown to be a non-issue, which I believe it to be. And again, I posted it right here. Initial stage next year, probably get into the mid threes. And then again, the actual rates for houses will get better here too. Yeah, we talked about oil. Oil was up a lot and it's already dropped a bunch. You got to go back and see that. And I believe oil is going to drop pretty hard in the next couple of months. Again, just, yeah. Okay, so we did the economy stuff. I think we're sitting pretty good there. Let's move on. Let's see here. Let's talk about, real quickly, Bitcoin, super fast. So I said, is this a crash for ants? So one of these guys, I forget who, maybe Bitcoin therapist or somebody's like, Bitcoin's crashing with the war. And I'm just like, oh, okay. The blockchain group, I love this group because Adam Back is a part of it. I love that guy retweets me. He is literally an original cypherpunk. Wow, guys, SharpLink is now at 1150 and climbing. Again, don't chase too much. Just, I don't want people to get wrecked. I don't know where it's going to go. It's probably up and down, but that ain't bad. My view on SWC, or otherwise known as the US OTC market side, TSWCF, I'm interested in it. I actually hit up James, my buddy Invest Answers. I don't know if he's responded back yet. I'll try and check today about Soul Strategies, the CYFRF, just to see if he thinks it's really worth buying here. I got a feeling it is. We're going to talk about Soul Strategies a little bit in a second too. But the blockchain group from my buddy Adam Back, I love him, and I love how aggressively they're buying Bitcoin. We'll see that in another one. This happened 19 hours ago. They bought, what did they buy again? They issued 9.7 million euro in order to be able to put more into their treasury. Again, very aggressively buying. Good terms too. Japanese fashion brand ANAP buys 50.56 Bitcoin. Again, this is happening everywhere, guys. They want to hold 1,000 BTC by August 25th. The Bitcoin historian, public gold miner Bluebird, just announced they will start to mine Bitcoin. Gold miners are spending money to mine Bitcoin. I love it. Here, we've got my buddy Sonny Decree. I used to love this guy. He used to pitch something called Bybit. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Some of you probably do. Or not Bybit. BitConnect. BitConnect. He was a BitConnect guy. So he was basically a scammer, even though he didn't know it. But then he turned into like a legit dude. He's an OG. This is a 2017 guy. Or 2019, 18. I don't know. That's when I caught on to him. But he's talking about how Bitcoin... did you know that Bitcoin is still about 17% of its all-time high against gold? So this is beautiful because this is showing you that Bitcoin's getting ready to do an inverse head and shoulders roughly, or a cup and handle against gold, which is amazing. BitConnect. Yes. In case you guys don't know what BitConnect is, oh God, Jeremy. I love Jeremy. I feel really bad for anybody who follows his financial choices, but here we go, guys. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, BitConnect? Hey, hey, hey. You don't know how many people I argued with 7 years ago about BitConnect being a scam. You don't know how many. I tried to save them. You can't save some people. Publicly traded automaker Zhuzi just completed his first Bitcoin purchase with a plan to buy 1,000. There's only so many Bitcoin, guys. Chinese public company DDC Enterprise just bought more Bitcoin. They bought 38. We've got the president saying that America's not done yet with Bitcoin and crypto. Let's listen to this.
At the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit, I'm delighted to speak to some of the greatest visionaries.
He said we're not done yet. So market structure, we're working to get the Genius Act through. That's the stablecoin bill. That's going to be huge. It's going to help our bond market. because then every time people use stable coins that are backed by the U.S. that are backed by U.S. treasuries, that those will be purchased more and more and more. And every time you hear Tether printing and all these other companies printing, think bond buybacks, bond buybacks, bond buybacks. So this is all beautiful stuff. So we'll get the Stablecoin Act through. We'll get the market structure bill through, which means that banks are going to really start to heavily custody Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and stable coins. And it's just, the world is changing. Everybody laughed at me when I used to talk about this stuff. Ask me, so is America going to take over Iran? No, not at all. We don't care. We're not even going in. We're just giving intel. And then I think the Iranian people will end up overthrowing their government. That's my guess. We'll see what happens. Or we'll end up getting a deal with Iran after the regime has basically had its nuts handed to him and its head cut off. But here's things that we will dominate. We'll dominate Bitcoin. We control 40% of the supply. We control 36% of the hash rate. And if you include Canada in that, it's like 45, 46%. Spot Bitcoin ETFs, we have almost 80% market share. And this is before we create the stablecoin bill. This is before we do the market structure bill. This is before we really embrace this stuff. So again, I expect bubbles in Bitcoin treasuries. I expect bubbles in crypto coming maybe even later this year. Jesse, did you see Vincent's new price target for Metaplant at $100 in 2026? I'm not looking out to 2026. I'm trying to be more conservative, but I do think he's probably right because my price target is 30 to 50 in 2025. So yeah, I think 100 makes sense. Bitcoin miners, I said they're disappointing again today, but actually finding support. I'll try and give you a few good charts. I failed at that. I'm a busy guy. I got a lot going on. But I will show you charts in a minute here. Remind me, guys. All right, so I wanted to talk about GME. I warned you guys and who would ever listen that GameStop at Vegas when Ryan Cohen was interviewed about their purchases, and they were already tiny purchases, and he acted like he did not give a shit, said if Bitcoin does well, doesn't believe in any of the stuff that's happening, but more than happy to take your money and then take a small amount of it and buy Bitcoin. He fucked them. He fucked GameStop. He's an idiot. And that's why, again, we were seeing massive drops in GameStop. I don't even follow it anymore. Don't care. But again, if you're not aggressively buying, you're failing when it comes to Bitcoin. And people will pay a high NAV. I mean, again, guys, SWC, the Smarter Web company, of which I'm highlighting as a community now within my feed, is growing like rapid fire. And they're doing smart. They're being smart. They're marketing well. They're purchasing under great terms. The CEO is brilliant. They're the fastest growing company, I think, in the UK right now. And if you're growing and you're smart and you're marketing, you can demand a high MNAV. You can demand a NAV of 10x. And if people know that you're going to keep buying, they'll keep that NAV will keep going up. This is why I jumped out of Similar, why I jumped into SWC, the Smarter Web company, why I jumped into Matador, why I jumped into ASST, which I think could still get crushed. I've got like 100K in that one, but I want to warn you guys, I think that one could get crushed. We'll look at that chart. This is why, though, I jumped into some of these smaller ones. And then I jumped into the treasury for SBET last night because I believe there's a lot of opportunity here, and I'm trying to benefit off of it. Arrow, IPO, I don't even know what that is, bro. There's so many IPOs right now. Are you guys excited about the fact that the IPO market is starting to take off and that Bitcoin treasuries are popping off everywhere? I am. MicroStrategy short interest just hit a new all-time high. A huge short squeeze is coming. This is from 2 days ago, like 36 hours ago. Also, Vivek said Strategy will have the largest quarterly earnings in human history if Bitcoin closes above 119 at the end of June. We have 2 weeks. I want you to listen to that. That might not happen, but I want you to fucking listen to that, okay? Arrow's a defense play. Okay, we can take a look at it later. MicroStrategy for the Q2 reporting in like 4 weeks or something could have the largest earnings ever in recorded history for any company in the fucking world. Did you guys get that? Did you guys get that? And what that means for other Bitcoin treasury companies? Do you guys get that? For the almost 1,000 people that are here, please hit the like button. How many people have hit the like button? Can you guys tell me? All right, we've got senior Bloomberg analysts saying that Bitcoin ETF assets under management will triple gold ETFs on the way to $1 trillion. No one is talking about gold. We've got Vivek saying Brazil's strategic Bitcoin reserve bill just passed the first committee. Wow. What do we got for likes, guys? I love Jesse's listen to this voice. Thank you. I should do ASMR. All right, Bitcoin Magazine, just in. Everett's Pharma becomes first company in Germany to buy Bitcoin for its balance sheet. What did they buy? What did they buy? What did they buy? How much Bitcoin? 100 Bitcoin. The OTC desks are running dry, guys. They're running dry. 257 likes out of 1,000 people. That is really disappointing. Super disappointing. Why do I do this? Bitcoin Magazine, just in. Investment firm F Street announced its buy Bitcoin daily using Bitcoin proceeds for its treasury reserves. They plan to buy 10 million to Bitcoin. The Senate votes to move forward with the stablecoin genius bill. This again was the 11th later in the day. 2 to 1, 3 to 1. I finally figured out why. Oh, we already talked about that one. Okay, good. We're caught up on Bitcoin, guys. Jesse, after Trump's executive order this week, how many thoughts? Yeah, God, that's crazy too. Oh, let's do that real quick. We're going to Trump. Okay, so a bunch of stuff on Trump, guys. MJ Truth Ultra said, oh my God, this is awesome. RFK Jr. says the big beautiful bill includes a $75 per month healthcare program where you can get a concierge doctor who's available 24/7, no bills, no insurance claims. What the fuck? Wow. It also includes a health savings account, which can fully pay for things such as gym memberships. Wait a second. So you mean you can get a doctor's support concierge service? You can call up, online chat, whatever, for a doctor, and you can have a health savings version of to get a gym membership for anybody. I know there's companies that offer this, but we're just going to offer this to every American citizen. This will also create an on-site medical center by employers at various workplaces where workers can get treated for free if they choose. Wow. First round of Doge cuts passed. Many more to go. Let's keep rolling, says Representative Andy Ogles. I put politicians are not above the law. The government will send a message if you commit a crime. Fuck around and find out. Rep. LaMonica McIver. That's not her. She's just the person who's leaning in on it. That's Alina Hababa or Haba. She's a U.S. attorney. This black lady over here is going to find out. So she has the risk of going to prison. And I don't know if what she did warrants it, but boy, I think that sends a message to other politicians that are out there. Also, automaker GM now plans to invest $4 billion in the United States to move additional production out of Mexico to the U.S. I think this company's still going bankrupt, but I love the initiative. Wesley Hunt put, and I love this. This guy's so great. Who is Wesley Hunt? Let's look at Wesley Hunt, guys. Father, husband, Army veteran, West Point graduate, native Texan, congressman for the 38th district, American Apache pilot. Follow for congressional updates. I love this guy. If you've noticed, Democrats aren't talking about egg prices anymore. They aren't talking about inflation anymore. They aren't talking about tariffs anymore. They aren't talking about the stock market. They aren't talking about the border. So now they're planning demonstrations to fight authoritarianism. Why? Because Trump solved every single one of these problems in the first 5 months. They've run out of ammunition. And again, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports says Trump would be at record right direction in the country, including aggregate data, if it weren't for two very fake pollsters. So if you look here, The Economist and then Marquette are shitty ones. Harvard-Harris sucks too. I want to say this. He's being nice here. Marquette, Harvard-Harris, Economist are all pretty much trash. And so what he's saying is we'd be at record right, like the direction the country's headed in the right direction, going back over 25 years. Over 25 years now. Dalton Brewer breaking. Trump signs 3 executive orders. Let's talk about that. Drones, flying cars, and supersonics. I think this is a big deal. And I'm actually going to research this more. I have not put a lot into it yet. He signed 3 executive orders that will accelerate domestic drone production, secure our aerospace, and position America to once again lead the world in supersonic technology. The supersonic tech part, we weren't able to actually fly these things over the country, which is fucking stupid. So now we have the ability to do that. There's just a lot of involves a lot of deregulation and a lot of incentive to be able to get these things to happen. Jesse, kindly MD, when you get a chance. Yeah, kindly. So that's known as NACA. And I am not buying it yet. Why am I not buying it yet? Let's talk about that. So this is another Bitcoin treasury. I've got more research to do in it, but here's what I do not like. You know what we just saw on the ASST, right? Or not ASST. That's another one that I could actually drop. We should look at that too. SBET. Oh, it's over here. So let's look at SBET. So SBET went up a stupid amount in a short period of time, right? Like they had an announcement and this thing went up 4,300%, 44x. And what period of time did this happen? From May 22nd to May 30th. 1 week, this bitch went up 44x. That's great. But then what did it do? It dropped 95%. So let's look at NACA. And I've got alerts ready, guys. I've got them ready. So when this thing's ready to buy, I'll be the person to tell you. So make sure you're subbed on X. If you're not subbed on X, you're not going to find out. Or you better have your own shit set up. But I think this gap's got to fill, right? I think it's got to fill because I see a very similar setup to what we saw with SBET. And again, I think SBET's going to turn out really well. But let's just look here. So let's just go to April. We'll count April, right? We'll count April here to over here. We have a 2,600% gain in a period from the beginning of April. And that capped out at May 19th. So again, we got about a 5-week play here where people made 26x. That's got to come back down to earth, don't you think? Don't you think that's going to find some earth? Like they'll do some kind of issuance or something. I think we could see a 68% drop in this bitch. So I personally am not buying it yet, but I am very happy to watch other people lose money while I buy it down here. I mean, I'm not happy they're losing money, but whatever. You got to pay attention, learn what the fuck you're doing. So NACA, very interested. I like some NACAs. Sorry, that just came into my head. What about SAP? SAP, I'm not really paying too much attention to it. I probably could. Let's look here real quick. And I got all the drone stuff, guys. I got to do a bunch of research on that. I'm not there yet. Short NACA, I wouldn't short anything in this, but I will go up on it. You know what I mean? Like I'll go up on that shit. I'll buy the bounce. So SAP. What kind of gaps we seeing on SAP? Woo! So that pattern looks sketchy to me. I mean, it's trying to find support, but to me, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, guys. You tell me if I'm wrong. This is what I'm seeing over here, okay? Tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm seeing something like this. Right? Are you guys seeing this? You guys seeing this? I'm seeing a descending triangle. And these things are evil. They'll hurt you. They'll hurt you, right? So I don't know that I would be interested in this. Maybe after it does its measured move. What is its measured move? Well, let's do this in real time. Yeah, that seems about right. So, and again, honestly, why not close that gap? So I might, if I take cash, I might look towards something like this. Cause again, that's going to be a huge drop, right? That's going to be just fucking painful to anybody who invested in this. If that happens, it doesn't have to happen. There are things that can prevent this. There are always news related events that can prevent stuff like this, right? But do you want to be sitting in front of a train that can drop 67%? I tell you what, people heavily invested in SBIT yesterday would probably tell you no. Don't you think? So anyway, I need to do some stuff here. I need to get some alerts going because we got to be ready for the fun, right? If this happens, this doesn't have to happen. Doesn't have to happen. Doesn't have to happen. Could happen. Probably going to happen. That's my guess. I would buy it on the drop, most likely, but I've got to do more research on it. And again, oh God, that's just insane. And it doesn't have to fill all the gaps. I don't know. That's such a huge drop. That seems like too much to me. But it's already down a lot, right? If you bought this thing at 60 and you're sitting at 34, you're getting scared, especially if you made a lot of money. Let's say this. Let's say you're all the people that owned a ton of shares down here. And you went from $10 all the way up to 60. You know what you're probably going to do? You're probably going to jump. You're probably going to jump ship. Just like people jump ship on SBET. Just like people are probably going to jump shit on Naka. Jump ship. Shit. People are going to run from the Nakas. So many treasury companies going to dilute Metaplanet. A little. One would think. But here's the crazy part. They'll be top ones. Right? Because Metaplanet will not get diluted because Metaplanet's got such a unique setup. They got these taxed advantage NISA accounts where it's like the best way to invest in Meta or in Bitcoin is really through them. So I feel like that's a huge thing. And again, the Japanese market has all these issues with bonds. They're looking a little better today. But it's got Dylan LeClaire helping and on the board of it. It's got a CEO that went to Harvard and is a derivatives trader. And it's got a lot more than that. It's just it's the number two. It's the silver to the gold of MicroStrategy. So will it dilute it? Maybe a little bit. I think it's inconsequential in the end. And I mean, Metaplanet. What was Metaplanet up yesterday, guys? Metaplanet was up almost 7% yesterday, and it was in a breakout zone. Now, I've said that I think we can go down and close this gap. I don't think we go any lower. But I do think we can close this gap. So I think somebody should be mentally prepared for that. And if we look at the market in pre here, because I think Germany is up already. Yeah, Germany's up. And so you can see how Germany's down 2% today. But I would argue this is bullish as fuck. This is bullish as fuck and almost looks like a weird ass pennant formation if you draw it out enough. And then you got amazing volumes here. So I think we're looking at a rocket ship on Meta, and I might take a little more Meta, guys. I'm a little less than 40% now portfolio allocation on Meta. I've got about 2 million in Bitcoin treasuries right now. And when I say Meta, I'm talking Metaplanet, obviously. But maybe that'll be more in the future. And again, maybe there's an opportunity to get some Cantor Fitzgerald. I mean, why not, right? I love Howard Letnick. Why not represent? Maybe there's some opportunity to get some Nakas, and I love the Nakas, so maybe I'll do some of that. And again, maybe ASST. I'm going to look at that real quick, and then we're going to get to Bitcoin miners. ASST. So I have about 100K in this, and maybe that was too early. It is down. What is it down right now? It's down a lot, though, right? So it's down 56% from its high in on May 22nd. So again, around the same time that people got excited about these others. But again, guys, what I think is happening, and so what could we just get dunked on in this bitch? I don't know. It's only 103 million. It's probably less than $100 million market cap now. These guys still have to merge. They're going to merge next quarter with Strive. So Strive and asset entities will be all together. And so maybe I'm not too excited to buy into this. Maybe there's further downside. I could actually see something at least like this, right? Close this gap. Maybe not the other one, but close this gap. And so that's a pretty big drop, even from where we're at right now, if that were to happen. That is another 42%. So I'm not buying more. I've got about 100K, maybe a little less. Maybe it's 90 or something. I can't remember. But which again is an inconsequential part of my portfolio. It's like a couple percent, maybe 2, something like that. It's probably like 2+% that I had in this. So a little larger than I would have liked to have drop. But I will take an opportunity if this thing goes down. This has Vivek Ramaswamy behind it too. Let me just show you. Let me give you some details on this one, super fast. Right here. And then I own Mata too. That's another one I own. So again, anyway, I pointed out the gaps, how we could close some of those. I said, or this guy said, asset entities, nobody bothers to do the digging. When you're a private company, you get information more readily. But CEO Matt Cole is working with Microsoft, GME, and Meta and setting up their Bitcoin treasuries. Asset entities is now Strive. It will be. Strive was among the less than 1% of investors who supported a proposal at Microsoft. So again, these guys are pro Bitcoin treasury. Strive is a good company. And I want to say that Vivek is actually on the board of this one, but I don't remember off the top of my head. You guys let me know. And I think I got more posts, but I don't have them linked here, so I'm going to have to talk about that later. Anyway, I think we got a lot of the treasuries out of the way now. And and Mata. Let me just show Mata too. So I do own Mata. And Matador, Mata is Matador. I did some posting on this one yesterday too. I actually liked the price action yesterday. So I was buying it down here, I want to say, and then it rocketed up. I think I'm up on the position. Let me see how much I even have. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just going to take a look. So I got this one too. Jesse loves snack. I love Howard. I think Howard is brilliant, actually. And again, he suffered greatly when he lost thousands of his employees on September 11th. So he's got some hate towards Islamic terrorists. He's not a fan, but he's a good guy. He's a good New Yorker. And again, he was very liberal. I think he was liberal. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But Matif, I have about $100,000 in that. Holy shit. Huh, okay. I didn't realize I bought that much. I've been buying a lot of treasuries, yo. So Mata and Matif are the same. Matif is just the OTC version of that. Maybe it drops, but I feel like these are pretty strong signals to the upside that we're going to see a continuation. But, things can always go down. But I like this one better. I mean, I think we already had the big drop, right? So this one kind of reminds me of the after effect of what we were talking about with SBET, ASST, SEP, all these others, where this thing dropped 60%. That's a pretty long ways. Maybe it could go down more. But look, there's no daily gaps to fill. So I would actually indicate that this is pretty orderly. I kind of love it. Lutnick donated to the Dems until Trump. Yeah, right? Fucking Democrat. Trump was a Democrat. Elon was a Democrat. Robert F. Kennedy was a Democrat. Shanahan was a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. I mean, you guys got to realize if you're a Democrat and you're like hating on Trump and all this stuff, read the room. Read the room. Anyway, Matt, good too. All right, so let's look at some miners. Who's looking at miners here? I mean, Epstein was, but that's a different kind of miner. And evidently, Peter Schiff likes the miners too. Like, not Bitcoin miners. That's kind of creepy. I don't know why he did that recent post talking about, whatever. Anyway, oh my God, I'm hungry. I might call this one early, guys. I'm super hungry. Anyway, this is Iron. Iron is above or getting near to above on the local time frame. Let me go back here. First off, it's consolidating on the first fib. I love that. Secondly, if we zoom in a little bit more, I think it's maybe like right here. This might refocus. We'll see. There we go. We're just underneath peak volumes going all the way back to like almost a year, right? Jesse, how's your gut health? I try. I'm getting better. I don't take antacids very much anymore, and I drink a lot of Super Gut, and I try to stay away from things that inflame my stomach, and I'm exercising more and losing weight. I do need to get better sleep, so I'm going to try and work on that more. But I'm working on it, man. I'm working hard on my gut health, and then I've got my nut surgery in a not too distant future, so trying to take care of shit. But yeah, look at Iron here. This is a beautiful consolidation, in my opinion, off of what has been parabolic. This is almost could be considered the handle if it treads sideways for another week. I believe there is massive upside ahead for Iron. We're going to look at other miners in a second here too, but this is a good pattern, guys. This is the shit you want to see. And let's just call this the cup and the handle. Let's call it that. And let's call this a retest before the launch. So we're going to call it that. And so we're going to bring it down to about here, right? So we're not going to do it way up here. We're going to be conservative on this one. We're going to say, like, or actually maybe like here. So I'm telling you that I believe this thing can double in like a month. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you Iran can double in a month. And even if it just gets up to 15 in a month, that's going to be some pretty good money. So that's what I'm telling you, right? And let me change this to green real quick before I move on to the next thing. Let's look at another miner. Let's look at some clean spark up in this bitch. And then we should probably check economic data too. Did we get economic data? Let's look actually real quick before we go too far. You need some good old yard work. I do a lot of that, actually. I need to get up and move more, though. I've been doing too much of this. I need to take a break. I did on that vacation. That was nice. But I've got to get my sleep right. And I've got really bad neck and back problems, so that doesn't help with the sleep. So at 9 o'clock, we have data. I don't think I'll be around for that, but it's consumer sentiment. It's Michigan data, so it's bias and bullshit. 5-year inflation expectation, consumer sentiment, bullshit. Consumer expectation, bullshit. Current condition, bullshit. And prelim inflation expectations for June, bullshit. So I don't even give a fuck about those at all. So I guess I don't have to stick around till 9. Let's go back over, though. Let's look at clean spark. So again, I would argue cup and handle formation being established right here. I'm actually going to argue that it's bigger than this. I'm going to argue that it's this now, and that the breakout zone is here. So I'm telling you that I believe in a month or so, we're going to see clean spark in the $17 range. Will that change some people's balances? It's probably going to change mine, because that is a 90% increase. And remember, guys, these guys are going to see really beautiful earnings reports because Bitcoin's going to be a lot higher than it was. So I think that would be nice, and I think that's what's coming. And again, these have been painfully disappointing for like 16 months. So I get it. If you're pessimistic and you don't believe it, fair, totally fair. But look at this measured move. Again, cup and handle, highest price action since like February, the beginning of the year on this one. And CleanSpark and Iron and some of these others are like crushing it. They're really good. They're going to the way back as far as their price action. But so I'm telling you that I believe we'll get to this breakout zone, which would be amazing because we touched it here, third time's the charm, right? Maybe fourth time. But if I'm telling you that we can do 60, let's see here, roughly 70% gains on Mara in the next month or so, I think that's pretty good. So I'm expecting to make a lot of money off of miners, guys. This is just a few of them. This gives you a general idea, okay? Hey, people, what up? Let's see. Dave says you need some good old, oh, that was you. Kirby tax, processed foods, usually the culprit in gut problems. That's true. Roman Z, Jesse, do you use Whoop Watch, monitors your sleep? I actually have an $1,100, oh, not that one, this one. I have an $1,100 Garmin something. I actually liked my, is it Polar watch that I had, or Polar watch that I had before. That thing was sick. Oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. I'm reflecting. That thing was sick. I almost like that better, but this thing is great because it lasts a month, the battery. I think that's probably the benefit there. I just did Mara. We're literally looking at it. Megatron, any juicy leap opportunities with this dip? I mean, I think the ones I was already in. So if you're a member on Discord, you can just go over. You can just go over at any time and go to portfolio or today's trades or portfolio allocations, and you can look back in the way back, and you can see the options contracts and things that I have going back a very long ways. And again, a lot of the ones I was buying, you could do like a keyword search in here. Type in like CLSK or something and see what contracts I was getting. I got more recent ones here. And here I can just quickly show you some of them. But again, I don't necessarily love it when people track my trades specifically. But I kind of like it when people do their own thing. But if you look here, like Mara, here's contracts that I'm in. Again, maybe the further out, the better as far as safety. Iron, I've got a November 2025 here. That's up 170%. That's pretty ridiculous. That's the one that's really doing well. A lot of these other ones I bought earlier, so they got decimated. But that's really performed well. And then and it gives you maybe some foresight into what will happen with some of these other contracts. just by how well this is done, because I've owned it for like a couple of months, not even that long. Again, some of these others got decimated. The ones near the bottom are probably better for CleanSpark, where you're looking towards September and November. I wouldn't touch July's personally. That would benefit me if you bought them, because I've lost a lot of money on them, but I don't want people to lose money. So in my eyes, like these September and Novembers are probably safer. And maybe these others end up doing really well. If you want a Hail Mary, you could do like a really low target, but I wouldn't even do July, honestly. I would do later out. But if you're a gambler, you could do July on like a 20 or something in July. Maybe. I don't know. But you guys do you. You guys do you. I don't, again, I want to teach you guys how to fish. Got my gut tested by Viome and bought some custom-made probiotics from them. Nice. They give a list of food to avoid specifically for you and your list of super. Yeah, so I avoid cigarettes, alcohol. I do small amounts of caffeine. Half calf is what I'm using here. I just maybe have one or two of those a day, so like maybe still a cup of coffee. I try to not do it, but it's really hard to get up and not have coffee. But I avoid all those things. I avoid spicy foods. I try to avoid processed foods. I avoid onions. I avoid ketchup, because highly processed tomatoes, when you turn them into ketchup, that stuff's rough on me, so I don't do that. I stay away from Brussels sprouts. I stay away from, I don't do alcohol at all, really, at all. Like every once in a while I'll have one drink, but it's usually something that won't aggravate me. And then I stay away from mushrooms. I stay away from milk. I stay away from like everything. So I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying. I'm doing my best. All right. So I think we got miners out, Bitcoin out. We got a lot of these new Bitcoin treasuries that I was looking at out. We got the U.S. economy out. Let's jump to China real quick. Tomatoes, I actually do okay with unprocessed. We kind of already talked about this, but again, with China, I think China got a message here, and the message is they need to watch out because BRICS is falling apart. Also, Tanner said NVIDIA. Jensen Wong says NVIDIA is officially excluding China from future revenue and profit forecasts. So again, things aren't going really well there. Besant, we will see if China tariff pause ends in August. I think they're going to need the pause, and I think Xi will probably be overthrown by then. Let's listen to Besant, though, talk about how symbiotic the relationship should and could be with China.
In my mind, one of the single most important economic questions of the next few years, will there be a continued decoupling between the world's two largest economies, or is it possible to rebalance together? President Trump would like the U.S. economy to rebalance toward greater manufacturing, bring down the trade deficit. The Chinese continue to add manufacturing capacity. Currently, they are 30% of global capacity, up substantially since 2020. Under the cover of COVID, they increased capacity. They are in the midst of a substantial real estate downturn. Some would call it a crisis. They have very low consumer spending. And so
in Beijing, some properties are down 85% on their sell price. I'd say crisis.
They need to rebalance, do more consumer spending, address their domestic imbalances, but they cannot do that on the workers of the rest of the world. So if they are willing to be good partners and approach a negotiation where the U.S. brings back manufacturing, precision manufacturing, high-paying jobs, and the Chinese are willing to open their economy to American products, then we could do that together. In my mind,
that has not happened. I don't know if it will happen, but that might be why I believe Xi is on the way out. I said, is anyone surprised that a Chinese man was stealing tech from the U.S.-based company? So again, Tesla sues ex-Optimus engineer for theft of trade secrets. His name was Zhongji Li. Is anybody surprised by this? Tesla needs to be very skeptical of anybody Chinese that works for their company. They need to do massive background searches, and they need to make sure that they can't leave with anything. They need to scrutinize Chinese people that are working for their companies. Every U.S.-based company needs to do that. Because if you have a strong affiliation with the Chinese government, if you're not fully a U.S. citizen, or even if you are, China requires all students that are in the United States to be spies. They require all companies that work in their country to work with the military and to be spies and to steal technology. That is the requirement. Jinping, this is a new friend of mine. She's great. I like this video that she made.
And that story was fake. When China's brutal zero...
I won't go into all of it, but she does a really good job talking about kind of what's going on in China and why they're falling apart. We know that China has kill switches and solar panels. I need to follow up on this. I want to see what's happening. So Schellenberger was talking about what's happening with the energy policy and what the Trump administration is going to do in regard to this. The nuclear energy and Trump executive orders, the nuclear technology regulation and innovation, Trump's administration energy policy highlights, electric grid security and solar panel risks, China's dominance in solar panel manufacturing, the status of censorship in the industrial complex, and compliments to epoch times. So he covers a lot in this. It was actually a really good video, but one of the things he said he was going to do is get more detail on what the latest changes that are happening in regard to Trump's retaliation on things like what was going on with these solar panels. H-1B visa. I think that's a great program. It just needs to be heavily monitored. President Trump on the official China deal details. Deal is done. We have a total of 25 or 55% tariffs against China. They get 10% from us. So again, and Chinese students can enter our universities. We need to watch them like a hawk. We need to have people spying on them constantly. Howard Lutnick, it was fantastic team with, okay, so this is all the stuff in China, so we know a lot of this has already happened. Let's move on. What else we got here? Tesla. Let's talk about Tesla super fast. We've got about 34 minutes until the bell. Tesla has released massive updates to their X and S. You can see a new color on the X here. I think this is on the S too, so that's cool. What else did they do? They did a bunch of stuff. So again, frost blue paint color, up to 410 miles of range for the S, our longest range yet. So you're getting an extra, I think it's 20 miles in the S and X. Even quieter inside, less wind and road noise, more effective noise cancellation. So a lot of the improvements with the latest 3 and Y. New wheel designs and improved aerodynamics for more range. The wheel design looks cool on the S. I'll show you in a second. Front fascia camera for better visibility. There's a front-facing camera, guys. Dynamic ambient lighting. So again, this is very like Y and 3 update and the Cybertruck. Even smoother ride thanks to new bushings and suspension design. Oh, guys, the Y is so good now. New exterior styling for Model S Plaid, optimized for high-speed stability. More space for third-row occupants and cargo in the Model X. So you can see how the redesign looks here. Also, look at the wheels, guys. So look at the wheel here. Look at this wheel on the S. That's just so fucking cool. I'm sorry. I want to get that for my Y or my nephew's 3. If this fits on the 3, I'm going to see if I can get it for him here. I think he'd love that. And again, look at the inside. Looks a lot cooler now. A lot more up to date. Even though they didn't do a light bar across the front, which I wish they would have done, but whatever. These look cool now. So I think that's great. Just another reason to buy Tesla. Again, I just wanted to show this because this is amazing. So this is less than 3 years ago on the right? Less than 3 years ago, I believe. You guys tell me for sure if I'm right on the time frame. And then this is showing you. So Elon's like, hey, we're making a robot. This is all they had, a dancing guy. Might have been a girl. Hard to tell. Might be a girl. And then we've got the actual robot. Watch this. I know, right? The robot's better already. I mean, I'm sorry. This is just insane. Is this not insane? And the crazy part is how close they resemble each other. Like, again, they literally knew their design for this robot in the beginning. It's amazing. And Kathy Wood reiterates $2,000 per share coming sooner than people realize. Elon Musk shows the new Starlink updated speeds. The Mini is what I have right now on the back of my Cybertruck. They've got the standard, and then they've got the performance, which becomes gigabit speeds available in 2026 on the performance. And look at this, gigabit speeds, guys, gigabit speeds. This is insane. So imagine the entire world getting the internet parts of Africa that have never had it before. Elon is changing the world in more ways than one. Seemed improbable at the time. Aviation Week in Space Technology, March 29th, 2004. David versus Goliath. Can tiny SpaceX rock Boeing? Judging how many planes are crashing with Boeing and how well SpaceX is doing with 90% of the payload mass for the Earth, I'm going to say they got it. Also, James Stevenson said something. This guy's a giant, by the way. He looks like he's just a tiny little gnome of a person. He's a fucking giant. Very deceiving, and he's so timid. But he said, I'm sure people do have to maintain supercharger locations today. Make sure everything is working, probably free for EV owners, collecting trash, etc. They don't do a lot of that. They do it probably with ones that have a lot of higher capacity. But he's so right about this. Sounds like an ideal use case for Optimus Robot to do all of these easy, boring, repetitive work. Just record video clips to email a regional manager for help with any problem it can't figure out. Imagine that. That's coming. And I said on June 11th, 2 days ago, I said, I've been almost perfect with Tesla price action over the last 3.5 years. What are we doing over the next few months? I said, I think we can actually drop down further. I think we could go down to the 300-ish range. And let's just see how that's played out. So we did actually, let's check last night and see how we did here. I don't know. Maybe, can I see that on the 1 hour? Yeah. So we did drop to about 316. So could we go further? Yeah. Do I think we're starting to find support? I actually do. So I think I'm going to count that as still being right because we got down to 313 and I think we're getting ready to go higher again, guys. And I had that, I didn't even have that at 300. I probably had it around 310 actually. So beautiful. Perfect job. Yet again. Boom. Points. Me. Dr. Jack, my buddy Jack, I love this guy. I'm subscribed to him. The number of influencers trying to bring down Tesla seems to be hitting an all-time high. This is happening right before robotaxi launches, which will give Tesla the first of 2 exponential increases in stock value, the second being Optimus. So he's saying basically people are being a bunch of cunts. And he's right. He's right. And that's it for now, I guess, on Tesla. And I crushed it on Tesla, guys. I put like $400,000 into Tesla, into TSLL. I rode that shit up. Maybe some of you guys made money off of that. The lower Tesla goes just means opportunity for TSLL. Yeah, I was actually thinking about selling some of my Tesla and then buying into TSLL since TSLL is down 8% in the last 2 days. I might do that this morning. I'll let you guys know. By the way, SharpLink Gaming at 1046, so it's dropped a little bit from the $11 it was sitting at earlier. I am only up about 15% on that, about $10,000. So who knows? Again, that could be choppy today. We'll see how it all goes. See where we end up. I do think we're going to be bottoming, though. Never bet against Ethereum. SBet strategic bet on Ethereum. A rebound to 40 plus is possible if Ethereum purchase is confirmed and market sentiment flips. Ooh, I'm going to post that one. That's fucking cool. Yeah, I believe that's probably true. I'm going to follow this guy. I don't know who you are, but I will follow you. Ooh, he's got the Fibonacci. Oh, I already like him. All right, what CleanSpark calls would you buy today? I actually showed that earlier, so if you go back, you can see we went over the portfolio. You can see where I pulled it up and where we had some calls in there. I can just show it just again real quick. I would buy the newer ones, September, maybe November. I would get something that's further out so you have time. Anyway, you had it. You got it. You're good. Let's look at other stuff. How are we sitting on the Fear and Greed Index? And then we'll look over at markets here too. Israel launches airstrikes on Iran. Yeah, no shit. God, I realized the news was just so bad in regard to this. It was just really pathetic. So we got 61. I think we'll drop into neutral. I actually think that's super healthy for the market. I'm very stoked about that. I think that is always a good thing to see, guys. You always want to see that. You want to see like some, balancing out. I said that the NASDAQ and S&P and things could fall. I said that on Monday, that we could trade sideways to down for the week and that would be healthy. And that's what's happening. Want to look at MSTR? Sure, we can do that. Okay, so I actually think this is really, really a beautiful looking chart. I would argue that we have like left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I would argue that, right? Like I would argue something like, whatever. We'll call it here. right? So I would argue this, and I would argue the measured move for it, roughly. I'm not even going to draw down the wick. You can, but I like to be really conservative when I do this. It brings us near the golden retracement zone. So how perfect would that be to stop right there? To stop, or maybe get above it, the 650 range. So, and I don't know, this could be a month or two, but I do believe that this is the path. I'll draw it out to like here. I do believe this is the path, though. So we'll see what happens, but I think that's looking pretty juicy. Pretty juicy. That's my thought on that. And my max in target is like the under 1,000. I could be wrong. It could go higher than that. But you guys got to realize, if this thing is a $300 billion company, that's insane. That's insane, right? That's Palantir. That's like, but if you have the highest earnings ever in recorded history, maybe you do go higher. Maybe you make it up to this level. Maybe you make it even higher. I don't know anymore, man. I've got this drawn on 2 different fibs over different time frames so I can look at it. Pretty crazy. Let's check the CME. I want to see what's going on with the CME Fed Watch tool. And then I'll show you guys oil one more time. Again, perfectly under resistance. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. So probably not getting a rate cut on the 18th in 5 days. Wow, but it's at 3%. I think that actually got better. I don't even know if there was a percent before. Maybe it was like 1. But now in July, guys, we're up to 22.5, almost 23%. Yeah, 23.1% of 1 cut to 2. Holy shit. That's actually kind of interesting. So July seems like it's almost on the table, and September seems like a done deal. I mean, there's only a 25.6% chance that we don't cut in September. So if you look out to September 17th, how far away is that from now? You got June, you got July, August. So 3 months, we're looking at least 1 cut, if not 2, if not 3. Very low percentage. So I think we're for sure getting a cut in September. It's just whether or not we get one in July. I like that. I think that's good stuff. Let's see how the Truflation, I haven't even looked at this in a while. It might have bounced up for a bit before coming down. I used to have a membership. I don't know. I think it got effed up, though. So I'll have to check into that. Oh, I can't even go to the 3 year. So I'll have to figure this out. I think I'm paying for it, but I don't know how to get signed in. Do I have MSTR? I have MSTX. I've got like 40,000 in that. And then I might have a little bit more odds and ends. Maybe I've got 50, 60. I don't know. Not a lot. Just a small percent, like 1% of my portfolio. Thought you sold all. I bought more yesterday. And again, I like MicroStrategy. I just want the higher multipliers right now because I think it's the time for it. But I love Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. I love them. So yeah, we're around 2%. That's still a really good number. So you can see where it has, again, bounced up a little bit, but this is very not inflationary. Tomer said, don't you think to buy more MSTR? You can. I think, so here's what I think, guys. I think it's a $100 billion company, right? And if we just do some math here, let's look at a few things here. I want to say SBET after its drop is probably like 700 million or something. It's probably basically their holdings of ETH or less, right? Adam Back just bought the dip. Are you talking about Alt BG? Are you talking about that one? Are you talking about the blockchain group? So this one is much cheaper, right? It's like 1/130th MicroStrategy for this Ethereum treasury. And then, well, Naka hasn't dropped yet, so we'll skip that one. But that one's only 102 million. And that one could drop 67. So this could be a $30 million company that's got a Bitcoin strategy. Then we have SEP. That's a 449 million. But again, if it gets cut in half, maybe that's 250 million with a Bitcoin strategy. Then we have ASST, which is interesting. I won't go into all the details, but I want to say they're using like the 539, like a way to be able to do swaps in order to be able to avoid taxation with Bitcoin. And then Vivek Ramaswamy's involved on it, all this stuff, right? That's cool. They're only $103 million market cap. And if they dropped another 40% and became 50, I think, again, 1/200th the size of MicroStrategy. So their growth rate is going to be a lot higher. That's why I'm putting money into all these, right? And then Metaplanet is mere 6.72 billion in a world where MicroStrategy is 100 billion. So their growth rate, again, is going to be aggressive, and they've got a very unique play in the Japanese market. And that's my mid cap for Bitcoin treasuries. And then Mata, I don't even know what their market cap is yet. It's stupid fucking low. Maybe it's 10 million or I don't even know. It might be higher than that, but it's really, really low. So I think they have the potential to go up a lot. They tie in with gold. I don't know if I love this play as much, but I got 100K in it, so whatever. Hopefully it does well. But again, so there's a few Bitcoin treasuries that we just went through right now, and they're all astronomically lower, right? And then again, SWC, the Smarter Web Company, is another one I absolutely love. And that one, it says 8.81 million, but that's not right. This thing's probably more like 400 million, maybe. So again, it's kind of like my SMLR or my Simler replacement. And they're buying so aggressively. They're the fastest growing company in the UK. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for this thing to go up too. They're operating at like 10x NAV. These guys are great because they actually have like a site. So if you look here, they've got a dashboard, right? Which is great. They've got a community of which I am a part of, which is great. Their CEO talks to me. Their community has 1,200 members. They were at earlier in the week. They were at 900 members. They've got 1,200 now. And again, there's people posting. There's people posting like crazy that these guys, like their 10-year plan is super aggressive. They're planning on over the next year, heading into 2026, they're planning on having 1,000 plus Bitcoin. So their growth rate is just going to be phenomenal. Running at 10x NAV, says Adam Livingston. He made a video about this. I love Adam. Show some support to Adam, guys. He's great. He's growing really fast. Again, just like this community is very alive. There's this video. I love Adam. Adam, if you guys haven't seen Adam, listen to the beginning of this.
Good afternoon, my dearest family. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am your #1 source for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Treasury Company analysis. Today, we are
I'm not using it as any kind of validation math too. And I love, there's like a comedy that goes with Adam. He's just absolutely brilliant and funny. No, I'm not using it as validation. I'm using it as a metric for potential growth rate. MNAV is important, yield is important, but you get that with those will be larger when you're smaller and you're aggressively growing and you have a strong marketing strategy and you have a strong community that's growing like crazy and you have all the tools necessary in order to be able to do that and access to the capital. Companies that market themselves well, that are 100% dedicated and not GameStop, those companies that aren't pulling a Ryan Cohen, those companies will do really well. I think the Smarter Web Company has a huge affiliation. I thought Simler might be that, but again, Simler's the same size as this company, and they don't even know when they're going to buy Bitcoin again, and they're getting horrible terms because they're operating at like 1 NAV or sub, whereas these guys are doing 10x. And so that when they're getting $10 for every $1 of Bitcoin that they hold, that is awesome. That is absolutely fucking awesome. And so I'm really, really stoked about companies like this. And I'm comparing how small their market caps are against a very large MicroStrategy, so that you know if MicroStrategy can 2x, 3x between now and the end of the cycle, some of these can go 10, 20, 30, 50, maybe even 100. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not validating shit with the market cap. I'm just showing you their potential growth rate. Anyway, I like this community. I think they're cool. There's James. James is a cool guy. I don't remember what he does here, helping with the orange pill. He's cool. And then also I did some posts in the community too, under their posts, talking to the CEO, and he responded to me too. He's very nice. Also, Nick is a great dude. It looks like a few of you already subscribed to him. I posted about this. Please follow him. He's really doing a great job posting analytics about price action and MNAV and all the other things that are going on in the dashboard. I think he built the dashboard for SWC. So I love that. I love it. U.S. markets getting ready to open up here for Metaplanet. Looking good on that front. I'm very excited about all of it, guys. We got a lot of stuff. Bitcoin treasuries are just blowing up. This is just ridiculous. This doesn't show it well enough, but there are so many treasuries coming online, guys. Like, look at the parabolic growth here to the right. When you look at private companies, governments, DeFi smart contracts, exchanges and custodians, public companies, ETFs and other funds, we are just in a parabolic move since the beginning of 2024. Even if you haven't seen it, it's all drying up. Did I sell my similar? Yeah, I sold all of it. All of it. If you guys are following me and you're sub to me on Discord or X, you know that, right? You know that I sold all of it. If you're not sub to me, then you might not know that. But if you're sub to me, you do. So I would recommend, and I follow all subscribers so that they can comment on my posts on X. If you're not subscribed, you won't be able to comment on like 90% of my stuff, okay? So subscribe if you want. That's only 25 people commented. Comments are huge, guys, for being able to get a broader audience. If you guys could, I just retweeted this. Comment on X under here, please. Emojis, saying hi. Don't give a shit. Just comment because it gives us a much broader reach. Very helpful for me. But yeah, I sold all of it. And so if you go over here, you can look at like, I think it's under here, subs. Yeah. And you can see charts that are unique that I post. You can see my trades, like how I was buying SBET a lot, and I got an average of $9.08 on it. You can see a lot of different things, right? You can see my trades here. You can see what I was buying. You can see when I bought Matif. You can see when I bought or sold some Metaplanet to do it. You can see where everything, like all my charts, all my trades, you get that stuff. And so you would know that I sold similar already and that I was completely out of it because I made it very, very clear. June 14th is Donald Trump's birthday and G7 summit. It'll be fun. Yeah, and we're going to have massive protests heading into that. Oh, thank you guys for commenting already. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. So we're going to have massive protests heading into that too. So I had 2641 subs. Now I'm at 2643. So you guys are subbing. There's people subbing. But yeah, so I think a lot of good things are happening, guys. I'm really excited. Oh, there's a new Capital Wars post too. There's also FS Insight. I wonder if Tom Lee said anything. Should we look at that? I mean, Tom, don't sue me, bro. We're going to look at your video, even though it's something people are supposed to pay for. Oh, he doesn't have one. Okay, so it's just Mark Newton. I watched this one earlier. It's 8 minutes, though. It's really long. It's good stuff. He's bullish. Jesse, do you... Oh, hello. Don't show that. Jesse, do you ever buy VIX? Nah, I don't care. I don't care to. All right, let me go back here. Let's go over here. Yeah, I think we've went through everything, guys. What is it? 12 minutes until the bell tolls. There's no economic data. Let's look real quickly at how things are doing. Do I have my heat map over here? I do. Let's put that a little over here. So we're still seeing things down. Not as red as it used to be. Energy doing really well today. Industrial services doing really well today. But a lot of the deep red is gone already, which I think is really good. The dollar gained a little bit of strength after falling off a cliff yesterday. Oil is, again, I'll just show it, but it's dropping, guys. This is good. This is really good because there's this downward trend line that we wicked above and then dropped underneath, and then again wicked above over here and dropped underneath. This downward trend line started in March of 2022, so all of 2022, 2023, 2024, and now into halfway through to 2025. This thing has been trending lower and lower and lower. It broke down out of a descending triangle, broke back up really hard, but I think we could see another trip. And maybe that's where we stop getting into the 50s, but I think we got another trip into the 50s. At least maybe a W pattern. At the very least, I would say something like this, where we just double bottom on oil before going higher. Because again, we're drill, baby, drill. We're doing a lot of that right now. Pokes Jesse, do a buy. Bill Kaz, June 14th is... Oh, yep, you already said that. What's a good buy price for SWC? I don't know. I think it could get smacked. I did tell people yesterday to buy it, and it was a good time to buy it. Is this today already? Is it open yet? Are they open? June 25th. What? June 13th. Are they open already in Europe, or is that yesterday? Am I tripping? I think that's yesterday. I don't see any volume here. Yeah, so they're not open either. I think they're opening with us in a few minutes. Where could it go? I don't know, man. It could stop here and take a breather and maybe even test back down. Maybe to 170s or something. But I think this thing, it all depends. If they do a massive issuance and crush it, which they should do, because they're up since June, they went from 80 to 204. So they're doing really good. If you look at the legs here, guys, it's like consolidation, pump, consolidation, really long one, pump. Could we see some kind of consolidation in here? Are you going to have time for till the end of the month to buy again before another pump? Maybe, but I think we're going more parabolic with this one. So I could see 216 in the not too distant future, and then I could see us run into the 300 range. But maybe we consolidate for a bit. Maybe we do get a good drop. We had one yesterday. It was actually up. It closed the day. The American version of this had really high volume yesterday for being so new. And it went up a lot, guys. Like, it's already dropped a lot. If you look at it, it was at 315. Let's just look at this here. This was crazy yesterday, okay? So let's look at the beginning of the day. So yesterday it was over here. So it went from $1.79 at the end of the 12th. Is that right? Oh, the 11th. No, the 11th it went from $1.78.79 right around here, all the way up yesterday to 250, then up to 272, then up to 314, crashed back down to 244. So to me, that was a really good level to buy in, and I posted about it for people that are subs. I said, hey, guys, we're only up 18% right now. And how much of a drop was that? Let's just look. And this is on the U.S. market, though. You kind of have to look at the U.S. and the U.K. But this thing dropped, what did it drop in total yesterday? It dropped from its peakity peak down to the bottom. Oh, it's not showing. 22%. That's pretty good. Could it drop more, though? Could it get down to like the $2 range before going higher, where we have just wicked amounts of volume on the U.S. exchange? Close this little baby gap over here? Hell yeah. That could happen. So you might, so again, I don't know if I'd rush in and get super excited right now, because we could have more downside price action, and it would be a blessing for people that wanted to get in. I would probably add more. If we dropped another 22%, I would buy more. So I'm not saying it will drop. I'm just saying it could, and that would be a great buying opportunity in my mind. Jesse, I'm a sub on X, but I am not seeing your post. Weird. If you go into the subcategory, you don't see them. If you guys have those kind of issues, submit a ticket. Submit a ticket. Because you should see all of this. Is anybody else having that same problem? Sometimes X is weird, and I don't know why it happens to some people and not others. I don't know. Yeah, now you guys have a plan to buy SWC or again, if you're American, it's a different one, right? If you're American, it's like TSWCF. You can see them. Yeah, so if you're not seeing them, guys, submit a ticket. I don't know why that's happening, but you should be getting this stuff. It might be older ones too. Maybe you have to unsub and come back in if they don't help you. Micro to macro, best damn show for private investors. Spend the $5. Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks, King Size Smile. Appreciate you, dude. You see in Discord? Okay. Yeah. If nothing else, you see my trades in there. So you got historical in there. But if you want it timely, I post to X first. So I post to X first. Every once in a while, I forget to timely post to Discord, because I look at this as my charts. You find all my charts in here. You can talk with the community. You guys, a bunch of you guys know a bunch of things, so you talk amongst yourselves. And again, historical for trades, portfolio allocation, discussions going on. I see some people didn't like the fact that I sold a bunch of Tesla on this day. Look, I got thumbs down. Unhappy people, guys. But you get all the historical information in here. So that's the way I look at Discord, and you have my charts. And the charts, like if you look over here, Iron, You can click on that and you can go up here and you'll see it looks like charts from Tommy and charts from myself. So you get the updated information. Every time I save an update, you have access to it. So you don't have to wait for the show. Jesse is for YouTube is for Jesse's ASMR lol. You know what I got to do? I got to update Discord. I still haven't put all these Bitcoin treasuries, so I'm going to try and do that today, guys. I was able to repeat it after going for your view tab. For you tab. Oh, okay. Interesting. No issues since Wednesday's change. Okay. Banshee, FPV, sometimes X glitches out. Refresh usually works for me. Oh, good. Good to know. Okay. JH, I had to sign up on X and sign back in. It worked to see his posts. Oh, okay. So maybe try refresh before you do that, because that might be easier. Amit says, Jesse, if I don't look at Metaplanet holding until Q3 this year, will I be happy? Yes. Tommy's a real one. Yes, he is. He's a good dude, man. And he's pretty active in the Discord. At least I think he is. I'm not in there as much as Tommy is for sure. Soul Strategies up 5% in pre-market, it looks like today. SMLR is down another 2%. It's still down below where I bought it. SMLR sucks. KWM, that Korean one, dropped almost 10% yesterday, down another 1.36% in pre-market. So, and again, KWM is $371 million market cap. I don't think it should be. And maybe that changes and they're worth it. And then Similars a $342 million. They're basically trading underneath their Bitcoin, but you get all the complexity of the Department of Justice going after them and all the lawsuits against them for the medical side. Probably unwarranted, but a lot of baggage. Whereas you have much smaller caps in Matif, you have a much smaller cap. And I'm checking, guys. I don't know if this is live yet. BCHXF. For some people, this might be live. This is the Alt BG, the blockchain group one. It went live in the United States as low as 572. Now it's up 3.36%. I don't know if this is available to me today. If it is, I might sell a little bit of Metaplanet to buy it. Just a heads up, because I got a lot of Metaplanet, and I'm doing really good buying all these small treasuries. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of that because I think we're getting ready to explode higher. I want the highest multiplier I can possibly get. And then again, if I do really well on these, I might dump some of it back into Metaplanet. Good not to enter GME. Don't touch GME. James says, did James reply to you on Soul Strategies? I know he is also. He might have. I just haven't looked. I'm really bad with my email. Let me see. I'll check to see if James replied. He did. So I'll say this, based upon the information that he has posted, because I don't want to say what he's posted. I think that's rude. I don't want to because I don't know how much of this he's conveyed to other people, but I do believe that it's probably a 5X from here for Soul Strategies. And it's up 5% in pre-market. So 5X based upon my research, and then also from what I'm hearing from James, that's what I think. And a 5X would put these guys at a $1.5 billion cap. That might sound crazy high. It's not that crazy high, especially if Solana really takes off. So I'm liking that. I'd probably look to add a little bit to that, maybe. Maybe if Metaplanet's doing good today, maybe I sell a little bit of that. Except the only problem is Metaplanet looks like it's going to break out. So it's like trying to figure out, I don't want to necessarily sell a bunch if it's going to go up another 20, 30% really quickly. Because I could use that money to then maybe sell a little bit and then buy into these other things. So I've got to be strategic. I probably won't sell too much. I love Metaplanet. I'm still hugely optimistic on it. But again, maybe Soul Strategies does well too. It's up 5% in pre-market. King Size Smile, Jesse recommended some cash earlier this week. I followed suit and I'm picking up some stuff on dips. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I did. That's what I said Monday. Any thoughts on SMLR going back to I don't like SMLR at all, Rahul. Again, if you're sub to me, you can go back and look. You can check. You can go into here and click on subs, and you can look at what I had to say about SMLR last week when I was getting out of it, and why I'm negative on it. So I'm fully out. I don't like it. It's too complicated of a story. Elusive 270, Jesse would love to hear your thoughts on DJT and how you view that opportunity. What are we talking about? Is that Truth Social, or what is DJT? Dow Jones Transportation, Truth Social. What are we talking about? King Size Smile, Jesse, oh no, that was you. MB, thoughts on Amazon and Walmart replacing credit cards with stable coins? What do we think? ETH, Sol versus stable? I don't know. I think that's great. And I think they're both going to benefit. I think Ethereum still has a place. I think Sol still has a place. There's something, though, that I want you guys to think of, and it's the same thing I'm talking about when I talk about MicroStrategy being huge versus these other things. Let's look at the market caps, okay? Here's Ethereum. It is a $307 billion market cap. If this thing goes up 3x, it's almost $1 trillion market cap. $1 trillion. So what is the likelihood of that, of Sol outperforming it when Sol is only 76 billion? And if it went to $1 trillion, it would be, what, 13x or 12x or some shit? Whereas this would be 3. So just always think about that. Think about size, because size matters. Ask any woman and she will tell you size matters, okay? And if she says that it doesn't, she's just being nice. Neil, just verifying that you've kept your TSLL and your leverage in place despite a shift. No, I sold some. Guys, you got to be... I've got a bunch still. I've got a bunch. Let's just look over here real quick. But I did sell some, and the market just opened, so ding, 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 ding. But I did sell some, right? So, like, if I jump over here, I still own a bunch. Like TSLL, it probably got butchered too. TSLL, I still have 45,000, so not a ton in here. I did end up selling some of that, which was timely, actually, while it was up yesterday, to buy some of the Bitcoin treasuries I was talking about. And again, in this portfolio, I got 151,000 in Tesla. It looks like Tesla's bouncing back pretty good here too. So I do have some of that, but no, I sold some of that yesterday. And again, I post this to subs in order to be able to buy SBET at $9.08. It looks like it's still in the tens right now. We'll see what's happening. I'm up about 17% on that trade, or $10,000, almost 11. So I like what I did so far. We'll see. I do think this is going to end up skyrocketing up once people realize what's going on in that trade. If I am right, it does require that I'm right, which is important. You want to be right. Anyway, KWM down 9% this morning. So again, just getting crushed. About where I sold it though, so I can't shit on it too much. Some people like Scott King did really, really good on that. But yeah, I've got probably 80,000 now in SBET, that treasury strategy. So I've got Cypher, where I have about, or I should say Sol Strategies, where I have about $90,000. And then I have my Ethereum play where I've got about $80,000. And I'll probably end up putting even more into Cypher, maybe 50,000 more or something into Cypher. And maybe use MetaPlanet for that. Maybe, I don't know. And then maybe get some of these other things too with it. Anyway, I'm probably going to call it, guys. I'm going to call it. We'll see how things play out. Probably looking really red in the morning. My portfolio, I think, is down $300,000 in the morning. So I'm probably closer to 4 million now. It's been pretty brutal, but that's okay. I think that's going to bounce back, and I think we're going to do really good, just like Sharp Link SBET is doing really good this morning and almost to $11. So I think we're going to see some recovery today, and I'm going to try and capitalize on it. If you're a sub on X, you're going to see it. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I'm going to go get some coffee, and I'm going to get to trading. Peace out, guys. Love you.